Club. We're your hosts. I'm Akila Friends.
And I'm Ebony Chapman.
And if you guys are watching, you see it's just us. That means it's one-on-one time with the girls. And like we did last month, we want to make sure that these one-on-one episodes are something that you get to know us a little bit more. We talk a little bit more about things that are happening in our lives. We're redefining creativity also and as well. And so we want to make sure that we're building this community. And part of building this community is being vulnerable with different parts of our lives. So last time we talked about, what it was like growing up on the West Coast or what it was like growing up on the East Coast. And this time, let's take it up a notch beyond growing up and let's talk about the college years.
When you're kind of grown up. You're semi-grown up.
Right. You're semi-grown up, all that kind of stuff. And so we're going to be asking each other questions and just having a free-flowing conversation about what it was like in college. I mean, if you're listening and you're in college now, know that it is not the end of the world.
But it is the most fun of your life.
But it's so much fun.
Live it up, live it up, live it up.
Exactly. And if you're not in college, it's a time for you to just listen and reminisce with us. If you never went to college, maybe you had a life experience that's very similar. Any case, we know this is something that y'all will all enjoy because we're just talking about life, honey, and we're just talking about us living our Black, female, excellent lives and how we've been about that, stay about that, and will always be about that.
Okay.
And it's
Nicki Minaj, you better spit them bars, girl.
Okay, don't say Nicki now. Yes. That's all you needed to do. How about we start with just like, Ev, where did you go to college? What was that about?
I went to Arizona State University.
You got a real college voice with me.
I had to think about it. Where did you go to college? I got distracted.
I went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So
was that a PWI?
Yes, it's a PWI. It was also state school.
Same.
Yes. That was the experience.
We're literally like kindred souls, really.
Seriously.
We're like each other's spirit animals, like soulmates.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. Did we talk about our birth signs?
Oh, no, we didn't, but we can.
Okay, right? I'm a Taurus.
I'm a Gemini.
And I didn't think I liked Geminis, to be honest. I don't think that Taurus and Geminis get along.
I don't know, actually.
But for some reason, you know why? I looked it up. I looked on our co-star yesterday. Your rising is in Taurus.
Oh, first of all, you looked at our co-star yesterday. I need to get the backstory for that. Why you're like...
Well, I was with my other friend. Oh, okay. We were hanging out. We were talking about our signs and like our compatibility.
Gotcha.
And then yours just happened to be like the first name because it's A.
Right.
On my co-star thing, which I didn't even realize we were on co-star together.
No,
but I digress. But your rising is in Taurus.
That's
and I was like, that's probably why we get along so well.
That's
because
probably why.
like I'm telling you, like her and I, like, short amount of time, but like I feel like we've had life experiences.
Like literally the same. Wait, so what is now? We got to get the full thing. Like you're obviously a Taurus. What's your moon? Your rising?
Oh my God, girl, let me look.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll like quick debrief before we go back into college years.
Right. So hold on.
What is mine too? 1 second.
Okay, chart. Fetching.
Let's see.
Okay, so I'm a Taurus. My moon is in Libra and my rising is in Aquarius.
Interesting. And Libra and Aquarius are known to like be, I guess, very compatible with Geminis too. So that's so funny. That's so funny.
That's why we get along. I swear.
What is mine?
Friends. It's
wow. I'm a Gemini, Scorpio moon, and Taurus rising.
See?
Scorpio, I feel like gets a bad rep sometimes too. So I'm like, listen,
well,
Geminis, they don't seem to.
No, Geminis have a bad rep too. They
have a bad rep, but
got two different personalities.
But the thing is, like, Geminis don't care. Geminis, we're just
that's the problem sometimes.
Yeah, it is a problem sometimes. It is a problem sometimes. And then the rising Taurus. But yeah, okay. And so knowing all that, we went to college. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Knowing all that, we went to college with that information about ourselves.
Well, I brought that up because I was like, you went to PWI, so did I. And it's like we, different coasts, didn't know each other at the time, but still,
very similar experiences.
We have very similar experiences. That's why it's like, because you went to boarding school in high school, but I also went to private school. Not really the same, but it's like structured and
yes.
So anyways.
Yes. Well then, okay, let's talk about, so we went to our respective schools, you in Arizona, me in North Carolina. Was that your first time like visiting Arizona?
Yeah, I did not visit before I even went to the school. So when I was in high school, I didn't even know what it is where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. Like, I knew I wanted to do journalism, but I just didn't have like a specific school. My other option was Columbia, but like the liberal arts school in Chicago. And I really wanted to go there because for some reason, I was like, my husband's in Chicago. Like, my husband's from Chicago. Wow. He's in Chicago. Like, I don't know why I felt like that, but I did at the time. So I was going to go there. My mom was like, it's so cold. You're going to hate it. Like, don't go. Like, she didn't want me to go that far. So I ended up not going. And I picked Arizona because I got into a few other schools, but Arizona was Columbia and Arizona, the two best options. Mm-hmm. Hate to say that, but it is the truth. And, I picked Arizona because I was like, it's far enough away, but close enough. It has a football team. I love to go to sporting events. Has my major. Didn't even realize at the time that the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism was actually like such a top journalism school. Nice. When I picked it, I just was like, great, they have my major. Cool, I'm going to pick it. Like, I really didn't have any point being is a lot of my friends like were able to like visit colleges because they had the money and your girl did not. So I was just kind of blindly going through that whole college experience.
Yes, I get that. But it seems like a lot of folks living in LA have gone to ASU, or it seems I don't know if that was an experience when you were there, but it seems like so much alums from ASU are here.
Every single person that goes to Arizona State is from California. All California residents go to Arizona State University. Like, I swear, like majority of one of the girls that we'll talk about later, she is from LA, or from Lakewood, Long Beach area. So it's like so many people are literally from LA was like, did I even get away? Like, did I even get to experience life?
That's hilarious. On the flip side, North Carolina, no. There was a lot of there were a good number of people who, I guess, moved to North Carolina from, let's say, New York, or their families did at one point or another, but it was a true, literally state school. Like, we had an out-of-state club. It was so few of us from out of state, even though this is a huge, very, it's a big school. I think, in total, I'm going to get the stats wrong, but I think per class was probably like 4,000 plus students. And so it was a pretty large school, so if you were out of state, a lot of people from North Carolina, and I'm at UNC or one of the state schools, but it's really rigid in that fact. I think it's by law they have to admit a certain number of North Carolina residents, and so if you're out of state there, it's kind of like, oh wow, how'd you figure this out? How'd you end up over here? And I think that was, but then I had no idea, and now looking back, I'm like, it's crazy. I had no idea of what UNC even was. Right. Now knowing, Michael Jordan went there. Like, that's...
Oh, he did?
Yeah. If you watch Space Jam, like, that was the beginning of that. And that's, like, kind of... They have the UNC shoe with Jordans. Like, it's very, very well known for sports, particularly basketball.
Were they good? Like,
amazing.
When you were there?
Amazing, yeah. Won national championship while I was there. Like, football team, it's great. But it's not like, oh, my gosh, the same level of when it's basketball season. It is next level.
That's
it's
interesting. That's opposite for us. We were like all about football. Basketball was like, we're gonna go, and it was fun, and like it was a big deal, but not as big as football.
Yeah, and so I think sports really helped put it on the map for years, and obviously with Michael Jordan, like being from there, it's like and
I feel like that doesn't get enough attention.
No, it does, and that's the thing. It's so
maybe I'm not paying attention.
I was under the radar, but I'm like, now I'm like, I feel dumb because I'm like, whoa, everybody. I mean, granted, guys are more stereotypically involved in sports and all that, but it was that, and there's the alumni base is very large and wide, but yeah, no, I had no idea of what that school was about. I went on, I got a full merit ride scholarship, and that was kind of what opened my eyes to it, because a couple of my professors or teachers at that point in high school recommended me for this fellowship, and I applied, and I was kind of like, okay, let's just see what it is, throw it in the mix type of thing. And then finally...
What were your other choices for college?
A lot of other choices, got into some Ivies too, and different, schools and things like that. It was a lot of other choices. I think I was choosing between... At the end, though, it felt like a no-brainer for me. It was kind of one of those situations where I felt like, it's a moment for me to just do something different,
So was it like a money thing? Like, was it like, oh, this is giving me more scholarship money and that's why I'm picking it?
It wasn't necessarily a money thing,
So you picked that over the Ivy League schools?
Yeah. It was, granted, I went to Ivy for graduate school, but, it wasn't it was a thing for me where I felt like, you know what, I'm choosing myself. I just felt compelled to try something new, a new challenge, a new everything else. And granted, yeah, it's hard to explain to other people too, but it was one of those situations.
So did you visit campus beforehand?
I visited for a final weekend. I think it was like a final interview weekend. That was a one time. And then after that was kind of like...
But that sealed the deal for you?
No. It didn't even... It was honestly...
It was already sealed.
It was sealed once I was deciding. And for some reason, I could not feel happy in a situation where I felt like I was continuing a path or continuing like a situation where I went for high school. Like, granted, amazing school. Like, I would never talk bad about like my high school experience or anything like that. It was an amazing situation, but also I felt like I was preparing, and it was a lifetime of preparing for the next step, preparing for the next thing. And I felt a sense of like, I was able to breathe, you know, and I was able to really just like try something new in a contained space that was like, this is an amazing opportunity. 4 years of not only obviously the full ride, but also kind of like, you know, travel experiences, like a great network, you know, like different things, and really trusting myself too to know like I don't need to continuously depend on situations, on people, on environments. Like, I know I'm good. And it was a clarity that happened from getting accepted from different schools and recognizing like, you know, some people, I'm not gonna lie, like the network and all that stuff that you can get and the accolades to say, oh my God, I went here, like that stays with you forever. But at the same time, what's even greater is saying like, you have a sense of self that I really like could really tap into at 17 to know like,
yeah,
I'm gonna be
literally
okay.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, that's so profound to be 17 or 18, so you're not gonna shout out any of those Ivy League schools.
I mean, they know where they are. They know how to find me.
Good night.
Don't worry about
question.
it. Next question. The next question. Don't worry about it. The next question is, we talked about, college friend group. Let's talk about that. Like, how was your college friend group? And if you're still friends with any of them today?
So when I got into college, I met my bestie Dana. Shout out to Dana. I met her the first day we moved into the dorms. Like, literally, we moved in that day, hot, 117 degrees outside. Everyone's sweating. We got, my parents came and helped me. And then my friend's parents also came down. A shout out to Darian and his family. And that night, we had like a Taylor Fest. So where I stayed, it's called Taylor Place, which is like the freshman dorms downtown, in downtown Phoenix, or in Phoenix. And they had like a concert like situation going on, and then I met Dana, so that was fun. And then Dana introduced me to her roommate Kylie, and then I went to class. So I'm the social butterfly, and I was the one kind of like pulling everyone into like the group. So then I went to class one day and I met this girl Jasmine. She introduced me to her roommate Courtney, and we all lived on the same floor. And then I met Alexis. I'm assuming we had class together, and that's why I met Alexis. Had to be in like one of the classes I had. So anyways, so it was like 6 of us. And so then we just all started hanging out. And then, you know, as years go on, people start dropping off. People are doing different things and living their lives, enjoying sororities and whatever. I am friends still with, and then I had my roommate Alex. Sorry, she was also part of the mix. So I'm still friends with Dana today, obviously. She's my bestie. Hey, girl.
Hey, Dana.
And then Jasmine, I'm still friends with Jasmine. She's also part of this trio that we have created. I'm still friends with Alexis, but we don't talk as often. Like, she lives in Arizona still. That's where she's, like, from. And, you know, she's a boyfriend. It's just, like, different. So it's, like, we still, like, text, and she wished me happy birthday and all those things. It's, like, one of those, but it's not, like, we're hanging out all the time, or talking all the time either. But, yeah, so those are the 3 girls that I'm still close with and friends with. The other ones, it's no bad blood. It was just like a situation thing too, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, for me, like, we had like a pre-orientation type event before school officially started. I think like in the summer before we had to officially start in the fall. And literally some of the girls that I sat with and we had lunch and whatever else, like they just became my core group like afterwards. It was very interesting. Like we all met each other then and just like stayed in touch and were super close friends all throughout. From I think it was like June or July is when we had like some sort of before school started but we were on campus. We had to do like an on-campus situation, I think, picking classes. I forget what was the reason they brought us all to campus that
orientation? Day. Was it not that?
It was, I don't think it was orientation. orientation because orientation would have been, you know, when school officially started later in August, but that was like a pre-orientation situation.
Okay.
So we were there, but yeah, like two of my best friends, Noni, Tanisha, like we met there.
Tanisha.
Oh yeah, Tanisha came to visit LA, so she met her as well. But yeah, we met there and we hung out too with like these other girls and guys too that we had a core group together. But I would always say like, you know, it was a situation too, like, you know, we were all in college and just hanging out and whatever else, and like we would just be a group, had the group me's going, like all of that while we were there. And now it's like, yeah, same, like no bad blood, but it's not a situation where I'm like, oh my gosh, let's hang out, let's call, like I'm gonna come and visit you where you stay now or whatever else. Like, it's more like if I see them, love. If I don't, like cool. Cool. Yeah, but I'm only we're friends. We're friends.
Flying across the country for a certain amount of people.
Yes, all of that, and also like met different friends too. Or people who I would consider really close friends through like pledging too. So that was like a whole other thing that we can talk about too because we're in the same sorority. But AKA like provided a whole new set of friends that like literally in my mind today I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta call my line sister back. Like that whole thing. Like so really close friends from there as well that I keep in touch with. So a lot of cool people, a lot of great memories, and I think the friend group for the most part is still intact, which is awesome.
That's nice. Okay, so what was your major in college?
I majored in public.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's so different. I majored in public health. I majored in in health policy and management.
I'm learning so much about you.
Yeah, these one-on-one, she was like, oh my gosh, these are questions I should have asked. I majored in, health policy and management. The School of Public Health, actually at UNC is like the number 2 public health school in the nation, second to Johns Hopkins. And so like with that, you have to like apply to, or at that point it was, who knows what they are on the ranking now, but like,
right.
Who knows, I ain't keeping tabs, but so it's one of those majors or schools, because they have some professional schools on campus, I don't know if it was the same for you, where you had to like apply to officially be accepted and get into that major, like I think your sophomore year, and then your junior year is when you can really start with those core classes. And so so I majored in public health. I thought to myself then, like, you know, I would go to med school. Like I was still kind of floating, but I thought I thought psychiatry. I thought for a hot second anesthesiology was there for one. I did like high school internships with like medical schools and things like that, thinking I would go into it. You know,
so that's what you graduated with, public health?
I graduated with public health, and also on the side, because I think it was around my junior or like that, so after a full year of taking classes there, I was like, I don't know about this. I know, but I also know I'm not about to switch my major and be in a situation where I need to like hurry up with classes or figure something out to graduate on time. And I also know, like, you know, on top of the lifestyle and everything else, like, am I wearing scrubs for the rest of my life? I don't think so. So it's just kind of like, I don't know if this is it for me.
I can't even imagine.
Like,
no. What?
Not at all. Not at all. Psychiatry, like, I think there's some correlation, but even that, I was kind of like, you know, and just the morality and whatever you feel like about that whole thing. But sometimes it's just in terms of the pushing of the pills and things like that in America specifically, kind of got me like, I don't know if this is going to be my agenda. So I did like a summer, and then like right afterwards, actually in Chicago, did like a business program at the University of Chicago's like business school, as well as like did a certificate with UNC. And so like within both, I would say the major was public health, but also like did business as well. And that's what kind of
scooted you over.
Scooted me officially
to
over.
Get the MBA.
Yes.
Got it.
What about you? What'd you major in?
I majored in broadcast journalism and mass communications from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of always been my thing since I was 16. I think maybe when I did go to college and I was taking, my God, why can I not think? You said psychology, but it wasn't psychology. It was,
that I did, or thinking psychiatry?
Yeah, but it's like another
pharmacy.
No, oh my gosh, why can I not think right now? Psychology? Wait, what is?
What did you? Sociology.
No,
I'm just gonna name all the ologies.
Name another one. Name another
like that you would have taken a class.
Yeah, I took it as like an elective class.
So what do people usually?
Oh my, and it's like easy. It's like everyone
psychology.
Psychology.
Oh, psychology. Yeah, you said that first.
I said that first. So confused. Okay. Yes, well, I was thinking I wanted to be a therapist at one point. But my dad was like, you're not going to want to take all those people's problems home with you every day. So I was like, you're right, Dad. Maybe I'm too sensitive for that.
Maybe not.
So communications and journalism was the next best bet. So that's what I've stuck with since I was 16. And this is what we're doing, pursuing, and here we are. Black Creators Club.
I always am so amazed by folks who are able to be like, oh my gosh, from 5 or from 6, or in your case, teens like to be like, okay, this is what I want to be, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I would watch E! News and be like, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, I could be talking about celebrities. I
That's
love
awesome.
gossip and, like, talking about stuff like that. Like, I could be there and presenting. I think when I was in, like, younger, middle school, and I think like I told this story, but basically there was one kindergarten teacher that was like, oh my gosh, you read so well, da-da-da, because she would always have me like reading scriptures in church or in mass, and so I would do that, and she would always give me such compliments, and so I feel like from there I felt like, did I just find my speaking voice?
Oh,
and
wow,
so
I love that.
From there, like, that's how the whole journalism and how me looking at E! News being like, I could do that came about.
For me, I like literally always loved it, but I never saw it as like, is this a career? I never saw it as, and it kind of goes back to the whole thing, you can't be what you can't see sometimes. Like, I never saw that as a thing. It was like, it's a great hobby, but is this the thing? Like,
and here you are.
You know?
and here you are.
And then here it is. And then here it is.
Trying to make it a career.
A career.
Did you study abroad?
Yeah, well, okay, mixed bag. So it is a mixed bag. So technically, I didn't study abroad. I like lived abroad, volunteered abroad, like did not take classes though when I was abroad.
So was that like during summer?
During the summer, yeah. So one major trip that I'll mention, like the first summer, between freshman and sophomore year, went to Tanzania, so East Africa, for like the entire summer, and it was not even life-changing, but it was just an amazing experience. Like, first time in Africa. East Africa, I think, is just so beautiful too, and so like lived there with a host family, me and 2 other girls. And at first when I decided to do it, like I was like, oh yeah, I kind of want to just, let's do this. I'm gonna go to Tanzania. Like, this is the trip.
She doesn't give much thought to anything.
I do. What do you mean?
She thinks about it, but she's also impulsive. So.
That's not even true.
It's true. It's true.
So I decided, I was like, this is where I'm gonna go.
Boom. See?
This is what it is. This is what it is. And then 2 other girls were just like, oh, we're going to, and so like made it a trip, made it happen, and it was so fun. So that's one, I think.
How long did you stay? Just the summer?
Yeah, just the summer. And then since then in college, I wouldn't say any major trip as long as that one. Probably a month, whatever else. Some other place. What about you?
Yeah, so I did do a study abroad program. I studied I studied abroad in Barcelona, Spain. And I picked Spain because I was like, it's Spanish speaking. I've taken Spanish my whole life. It just makes sense. It's beautiful. Cheetah girls too. Hello. Yeah. Like, I wanted to be a cheetah girl, so I was like, that's what I'm doing. I also did a homestay because I had another friend who did Venezuela for an entire year of studying abroad, and she was like, oh, I did a homestay. So I already had someone who kind of like helped me kind of navigate that a little bit. So I was like, okay, homestay, you kind of more immersed into the culture. I had a roommate, Kylie. Shout out to Kylie. Love you, girl. And we had the best time of our lives. I've traveled places I never thought I would travel. I've been to Morocco. We stayed in the Sahara Desert for 2 days. Oh my God, that is like a whole nother episode, because that story is like insane, my experience. And then went to Paris, went to other little cities in Spain, went to Rome, went to Milan, like just insane. I've never been to Europe, never traveled anywhere else. This is the first time that I did like a super big travel when I stayed there for 3.5 months, gained 20 pounds, and had the best time ever.
That's a sign that you had a great time too. Like,
I mean, we walked everywhere. I don't understand how I gained the weight.
Yeah.
But it was like we ate all the time.
Sure.
We went out. We were drinking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we tried to like do this workout thing. Girl, I couldn't even run around the block. I couldn't keep up with my roommate. She was like running me. She's passing me around I'm still like out of breath, dying. I was like, oh my God. So when I got back, it was like diet time immediately.
Yes. Yeah. No, I hear you. Okay, just in general then, your best college moment, if you can boil it down to one moment. I mean,
my God. It's a tough one. That is such a hard one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what the heck? Like, best college moment. The best? Do you have one?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I have like a best moment, but I'll name a moment that made me was like, wow, like this is such a cool place to be. Like, and the one we had, again, was regarding basketball. And so it was basketball season. We were playing actually Duke, which is our rival school. And so it was like, I had the tournament, and at this point I'm with friends, and we like usually around like for major games and stuff, people tailgate for sure, people like dress up, paint themselves. There's a bunch, it's like the atmosphere is crazy. And we had this game we're playing. It was very like neck and neck. I forget the final scores. I guess someone who's really into it would know. But we were playing against Duke, like I mentioned, and it was a very close game. And then so people really started to get more and more into it. And the way where the stadium is located is like at the very south end of campus. We call it South Campus. And so like the very end of campus is where the game was. And finally, fourth quarter, we finally won, and it was just insane. Like I was so engulfed in the adrenaline, in everything happening. I was like, oh my God. And I'm not like, you'll recognize or probably have recognized enough. Like, I like sports. I can definitely follow sports. Am I the one tuning in on Sunday saying, oh my gosh, this game is on or this playoff is happening? Like, I'm not that, but you can, if you invite me, I'll show up type of thing. But so this was a situation where I'm like, I am way into it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like we're screaming at the top of our lungs. I lost my voice the next day. And another thing that happens when we win, especially against Duke, we rush all the way to the top of what our main street, which is Franklin Street. So from South Campus to Franklin Street is probably like a 15-minute run, right? And so
15 minutes?
Probably like a 15-minute run. And so we're running the entire way, me included, the entire way, literally to the top. And we're like filled with adrenaline, filled with probably other things, some people, mainly with adrenaline. And what we do too, like literally bonfires everywhere. So on the street, like fires on the street, people are jumping over fires. I jumped over fire. Jumped over fire. People are swinging from the poles, like singing like our songs. Like it was insane, but it was one of those moments where I was like, this is like, I would never experience this anywhere else. Like, this is a college moment, you know what I mean? And so that was I mean, it felt like really a college moment, and I loved it for that.
My God, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the best college moments, there's so many. Like, obviously, us just all being drunk and crazy, taking crazy videos of each other. Like, that's always fun. We, like, obviously, freshman, sophomore year, like, when you're in college, like, you go out, but you're not going out. You're going to, like, apartment parties. So, like, I just remember one of my friends, who I'm still friends with today, he is so crazy. He would take, like, he was known as, like, low-key, like, campus famous, like Twitter famous, and so everyone knew to like hit him up if he wanted to go to a party. Incoming freshmen, people that don't even go to the school yet, probably haven't even gotten admitted, just maybe even thinking about coming to the school, are messaging him, DMing him, talking about, I'm coming to Arizona, I want a party.
Wow.
Like, it was just crazy. The amount of girls that he bagged, I'm like, yo, like, but it was just because he created that party atmosphere, you know what I'm saying? So he would go to parties and he would take his video camera and he would video everything.
Wow.
So, everything, and it would be crazy, and there are things on YouTube, like, and it would be crazy things. Girls would do whatever, like, again, I went to a PWI. Like,
and isn't it a top party school or something?
It was.
Yeah. I was like, isn't it?
I think we moved down in the rankings. Okay, everyone always wants to bring that up.
I feel like
everyone always wants to bring that up, but I think we moved down in the rankings because I think Stanford, Yale, and all of them are doing more because they're doing coke in the bathrooms, but nobody's saying anything. Okay, they're hiding it. We're just not hiding it. That's what it is. But he would film, so girls are like flashing the camera, making out in front of the camera, booty shaking. Like, I mean, just the most wild things that you can imagine a college student girl is doing. They were doing it, but on camera, and he would do this at every single party. The apartment would be packed, hot, sweaty, jungle juice, people standing on the counter dancing, like, I mean, just wild-ish. Just wild-ish.
He was a pioneer.
He was!
I'm like, this man, I mean, I wonder what he's up to now, because it sounds like this is something that he could have figured out.
Oh my God. Just always on something. Like, always
That's
just doing something, always.
Wow. Well, I guess on the flip side then of that, like, what was probably your worst college experience or college moments?
Like, the worst ones? Girl finals. I don't know. I can't anything worse, like anything that was that bad. Like everything that was crazy or tumultuous, you just kind of get through. I always find it funny because I'm like, how do I even have energy for all the things I was doing, like going out, going to school, working, like sorority, social life. Like, how the heck did I even find time? Now I'm like, girl, catch me tomorrow. I'm so tired. But the worst thing, I really can't think of anything crazy. Like, maybe the worst thing was like actually having to study. Like I'm a student that's not someone that's like, ooh, I just get a concept immediately.
Right.
I'm someone who has to like really sit, study it, rework it, go back and forth, test me on it. Like I'm that person that really has like the visual arts and the so it's a lot for me. Right. So I have to like learn something and remember it and apply. So for me, that probably might have been the worst. I mean, not saying, because again, freshman year, I was not a declared major, so it was kind of like critical thinking and like really simple, easy stuff. And I was able to like be done with homework because I came from such a rigorous high school that my homework was so easy. Then when I finally got into my major and I was past the prereq section, it was just journalism stuff, which was fun to me. But I'm just saying, like, taking stats, Yo, I just remember I literally pulled an all-nighter studying for my stats test because, like, it was me and my friend Alexis. We were in a group with these the smartest girls in the class. Thank you, Jesus, that we were sitting next to them because they just grouped us in the group together because we were sitting next to them in class in the front. And so they pulled that A out of their asses for us. Thank you guys for that group project. And so I had such a great grade in that class. Yeah. And I was like, I have to get an A on this final to like keep my B in the class. Okay. I guess that's not the greatest grade, but I would take it. Math is not my forte. Right. So anyways, I just remember literally having coffee, pulling an all-nighter in the dorm rooms, like sitting there like, oh my gosh, like, well, how am I going to get through this? Like, da-da-da, and I'm like studying and doing all this, and then your girl got an A on her stats test! It was the greatest feeling ever because it was like hard work paid off at that moment. Amen. So the worst thing was studying.
That's hilarious. I don't know if I had an all-out like worst moment or anything like that, but I like really, I feel like that's everyone's college experience, like such a time of growth. Like I learned so much about myself in such a like condensed period of time, and I blame it on college, but I also blame it on just like my environment too, like just, you know, from New York, from, you know, like just generally New England type experiences, like then going to school in North Carolina, like all that entailed, because there's a lot of things that entails, like going to people, like, you know, being around different set of folks and like, you know, constantly, I think for me, like I was a part of environments where there was always some level of a support system too, like, you know, yeah, you can depend on yourself, like all that kind of stuff, but then there was also a backing of just like people just like supporting you. I think UNC, like, you know, nothing against them too, but it was more of a situation where I truly felt like I'm on my own here. You know what I mean? And that comes with a lot of great experiences, a lot of great memories, but it also comes with a lot of like, you know, difficult experiences too. Like nothing that I can like right now pinpoint or like want to like delve into. Right. But don't worry about it. But at the same time, it was just a lot of growth. And I think, you know, I credit them for that. And I loved the experience for that. But it's also like, you know, experiences like I experienced it once. We're good. Like,
honestly, just to double down on that too, I think when you're saying growth, and like that totally hits home for me too. Again, just me, and I've shared this before, I think in the last one-on-one episode that we did, was just like me realizing my blackness, like on another level. Like just, I obviously, you know, you're black, and you know that like, oh, not everyone looks like you, and okay, people aren't attracted to you, but it's like when you're at a school where it's like amplified because of the fact that like you're not hanging around a lot of people, and it's like you are around other people from other states with other ideas of what whiteness is, what blackness is, what that means. Fraternities, we have plenty of fraternity stories as to like what went down. You hear that stuff on the news all the time too. Right. So it's like really being like, wow, okay, I recognize that like this isn't a welcoming space for me, and like let me figure out something that makes sense for me and identifies me as for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So that, yeah, growth 1000, that's when I recognize.
Yeah.
That's
you
when
need
I
those
recognize.
moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
To just know. Okay, well, what about, so we talked a little bit about the classes and studying and all that. Like, did you have a favorite teacher at all? Or favorite professor, I should say?
Yeah, I did. My journalism videography class, I think it was like 473 or something, for whatever. Mr. McJanet, he was literally my favorite. I also had another like ad hoc teacher. What was her last name? Her name was like Shannon. And
Shannon.
And she's like a crime writer. And I literally, the first day of class was like, I love true crime.
Wow.
And she wrote a Jodi Art. You know Jodi Arias? Oh my god. Yes. She like killed her boyfriend. She like killed her boyfriend in the shower and like took there was like photo evidence of it. And in any case, it was so good. So she wrote the book on like the true crime Jodi Arias book. And I read it and it was so good. And she was also on like a few episodes of Snapped, which is on Oxygen, another true crime show that I'm in love with. So her and I like bonded for sure. Loved her. And then Mr. McJanet, he was my videography teacher. He just really was cool, nice, helpful, always wanted, I was like, okay, wait, we have this idea. And I really liked him too, because on our first like video project that we had to turn in, he was like, now this is the best first project I've seen, and it was mine. And I said, that's right. And then my other friend, Adrienne, the next project after, so the second one she turned in was freaking killer. And like then all of a sudden she just like murdered the class on every single project she did. And I was like, I don't understand how you're doing this. And now it makes sense because she's in Virginia doing her broadcast on news. So
all right,
go get it, girl.
There it is. I don't remember, and I feel bad now, don't quite remember her name. Phillips comes
shame
to
on
mind.
you.
I know, but it was like I loved her just approach. She taught a film class, actually. So this is one of those things, like, again, I was majoring in public health, all that kind of stuff, but like, you know, still exploring, like tacking on classes to try to still explore like different interests. And so one, like, I think you had a max number, you know, credits you have to take, whatever else. And so like wrote a letter, whatever else, to try to exceed those credits. They approved in order for me to take an extra class, and it was a film class. Like lo and behold, like that was the whole like through line type of thing. But was able to get into her class, and it was just so eye-opening. I just loved like just her energy. Come to find out, she went to Howard, and she like was just kind of like pro-black everything, and was just kind of just her aura, you can just feel it. So, and what she taught, and it was about obviously black film. And so learning everything about like just history. Like I was always into history, always in like a major history buff type of thing. And so like,
not.
Really?
I was good at history because I could remember things.
Yeah.
I could memorize things, but I wasn't like,
that
oh my god, this was like exciting.
I wasn't like that either. but I loved history. Loved it. And what she was talking about, a black experience of film and just theater and everything throughout the years. And it was just eye-opening. I loved it. Great energy. Like she was just, and it was just great to just have someone from a professor standpoint who I felt like was really just involved. And it was a great class. Yes. Let's see. What else can we talk about with college? Oh my gosh. Do you have a best party moment, or like, you know,
oh my God,
what was that song from one of your moments?
I don't know about a song, but the best party. So sophomore year, we moved into an apartment. And so I lived with my bestie Dana. Hey Dana! And I moved in with Alexis. We had an open room, and that's a whole nother situation. So anyway, we threw a party for our friend Jasmine. Hey Jasmine, she's back. She was turning 19, and so we threw a party at our apartment. And my apartment was like a corner unit, so it was great. It wasn't like we had that many neighbors. We maybe had like one.
Right.
And so we threw the best party. So we're in downtown Phoenix. Everyone else is on the other campus, which is Tempe, which is like a 15-minute drive. Like that's where like the sports are and all of those things. Arizona State has like 4 or 5 different campuses. So we're in Phoenix. We invited all of our friends. Like the guy I told you that was like the party animal man that's videotaping everything. So he brought his friends and all of the people that we met. And from Tempe, we invited them down. They actually all came. I was super surprised. We got someone to obviously buy us alcohol. And so we had basically like a little mini bar. And then everyone who came also brought a bottle. We did not ask them to do that. So we had like a liquor store full of alcohol. And when I tell you that, like, we were all lit at 10:30, we were all lit by 10:30. The party started at maybe 9. Like, we did not waste any time. We took shots. I think I had a shot of everything. Jaeger, honey, Jack Hennessy or whatever, peach Ciroc. Like, I had a shot of everything. I don't even know how I got in bed. I don't even know what happened. Who was taking care of me? I have no clue. There were some other things that I cannot tell on camera what happened at the party.
We read in between the lines.
I cannot, because it was like some basketball players that came from like this other like school, so they were over there. They got a little wild. It got crazy. It was so much fun. And the next morning, I woke up. This might be TMI, but I'm gonna tell you guys anyway. I literally woke up and there was like vomit, literally all over my bed.
I don't want to hear.
All over my bed. I could have died because it was everywhere. Like even on my wall. I don't even know how it got on the wall. It was on the wall. I swear. It was on the wall, on the other side of my bed. It was so crazy. And then it took me, poor Dana. She's a champ because she had to clean the entire house because
she did not.
She did because I was dead. Like I could not move. My head was spinning. Like this way, you guys. This is why in college, even till now, I can only pick one day to drink because I will be out for the count for 24 hours, 1,000%. I will not be helpful, and that's why I can't drink. Like I can't do.
Yeah.
I have to really pace myself because if I get too crazy, it's a 24-hour lights out for me the next day. Like, don't ask me to do anything. Don't turn on a light. Don't tell me to clean up. It's not happening. Like, it's still like that today. So I gotta be careful.
I'm weak at this story, but I'm also weak at you trying to downplay ASU being a party school. We're down the list. No, we're down. Girl, ain't nobody. This is just what you've shared.
Right, there's more.
So excuse me. Excuse me, I don't believe. I do not believe. Girl, we turned up. Let's move on because
you don't have a story? You don't have a story?
What I would say, that was another, just in terms of not necessarily a story, but just the culture of it all, like really, I feel like y'all or the South, I'll give it to you. You guys were hip on like the change of the tides, the change of the music early. Like literally, I remember freshman year and going back home, I was like, oh my God, y'all gotta listen to Future. Y'all gotta listen to whatever else. And they were like, who's Juicy J? Not even who's Juicy J, but like I think they knew of him from something about like Waka Flocka, Juicy J, and like Future, what is this? Like go away. And then like literally a year or two later, they got hip and were so into it, but we've already had them like come down for concerts. So like, we have them show up for this or that, like on campus, this, and so I'm kind of like, in terms of the vibe, at first I was like, the music, what is this? But then quickly when you get into it, now it's like, what are you saying if you don't know trap music, if you don't know like Migos, if you don't know like all these people, it's like you're under a rock somewhere. But that was freshman year. So it was amazing. Let's see. What's this? Do you visit campus do you go back? Okay, so we graduated clearly. So we're just going back. We're talking about college in a sense, but like, do you visit now that you've graduated?
I visited a few times. When Dana, hey Dana, she keeps popping back up. I told you she's my bestie. When Dana lived there, after graduation, I would go back and visit her at least once a year, or if not more than that, just to hang out because I loved her and I wanted to see her. And one of my friends from high school, his family also like moved to Arizona when I was a freshman in college. So that's another family that I can visit and have ties to Arizona. So I have ties to Arizona forever. I love it there. I hated it at first, but I love it now. And I, eventually I kind of want to buy property there and like rent it out.
All right, Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona kind of has my heart, low key.
Yes. I visited a few times for like homecoming. Definitely been back for that. Like, What else? I think that was really it. Really, just like homecoming season to like fall, or just going back with friends. Like if we did something, because usually homecoming is like we call it DHO, like the drunkest homecoming on earth type of thing.
Oh my God.
And so that was fun. And so we'd go back for that, and just randomly, again, because a lot of folks live in North Carolina or from there, so may have visited a few times, just visit friends or whatever else that are going back to see their family, and I would go back too. And so that was fun.
Yeah. Are you happy with your choice?
Yes, super happy with my choice. I feel, it's part of my experience. It's part of my life. I feel like when else would I have gone to North Carolina? I don't see that in terms of like my life or anything like that. Like my family's not even from the States, let alone, from the South. And so like when would I have ever done that? And so, again, it's one of those things where I learned so much about myself. Like I feel like, it really influenced those choices that I made thereafter. Made a lot of amazing lifelong friends that I see, that I know, again, will be in my life forever. And sororities, a lot of great moments, a lot of bad moments that I learned from too. And just like, it was a great time.
Did some of the girls, were they like ring before spring? Like I heard that's like a very
oh my gosh,
thing.
Yes. Yeah, one of my line sisters got married literally probably that summer after we graduated, and that was so strange to me. Like literally, so strange to me. I was like,
are they still married?
No, they're not. But she is on to better things. Okay, she is on to better things. So that happened, or just young weddings, very committed relationships, like very
and
early,
the South, I feel like they take that really seriously.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah, the West Coast were not so.
New York, hell no.
Right, like struggling to find a man.
That's
but like dating is like but I feel like in the South they're very like serious about getting
definitely.
married, having family, like
definitely about that lifestyle.
You know what? I say that I'm happy with my choice because I made my friends that I have today, and like that's one thing. I have the thing is, like, you don't know what you don't know, and I can't say that I would have had a better time somewhere else or be married by now, if I went somewhere else. But I can say that, like, truly my choice and my decisions have been great. Like I didn't have an experience where like I picked it and I had the worst time of my life and was super depressed and all those things. I had the most amazing time at Arizona State. It was so much fun. The people that I've met have been great, and like I've had a great experience. The only thing that I might have wanted to change if I could go back to 18 and like when I was picking colleges, like maybe I would have definitely looked way more into HBCUs because there's a ton, and I just don't think that they get, you know Grambling and Howard and like Clark Atlanta maybe and like Spelman, but like there's so many more. Like there's so many
even
more.
Those, that was probably one thing too. Like no one, and it just wasn't talked about. Like because it wasn't a target school for anyone going to my high school. It wasn't it just wasn't talked about. So like I think one of those things too. Yeah, that would be probably the one thing just to. Like, is this even an option? Yeah,
is it even an option? Like, what do I want to do for my major, which is journalism? Like, what school had it? You know what I'm saying? And that would have been, like, Spelman didn't have my major, so it was like, why am I going here? You know what I'm saying? But Howard did. So, like, just being more aware about the HBCU process, I think that probably is, like, the one thing I would change better than that. I had a great time.
Yes. Loved college.
I think we're done, girl.
Yes. All right, y'all. Well, I mean, this was such a great episode just to learn more about each other. I feel like we learned more about each other just by talking. For sure. Hopefully you guys feel more in tune with who we are. Tell us more about your college experiences, where you went. Like, if you agree with anything we said, like, again, you can reach us at theblackcreatorsclub@gmail.com. You can just comment below. Definitely subscribe. All that mess. And follow us on Instagram at The Black Creators Club just to learn more and keep in touch with us. Until then, always abide by your ABCs. Always be creating.
Bye, guys. Cute.
Perfect.
I love that we're always in sync when we say it.
Yeah.